Hello, you awesome friends, and welcome to our mid-November 2016 live webinar, Profitable Email Marketing, a journey of reactivating and nurturing new clients to be. It's an absolute pleasure having you wonderful people on the line here tonight. And for those watching the recording, be it through my blog or the Awesome Marketing Vault, you know where to find me if you've got questions, if you need a hand. So welcome to tonight. It's an absolute pleasure having you here. My name is Edward Zier, and I'm a marketing mentor and blogger. And we're going to be spending a good half an hour together talking about one of my favorite topics, being email marketing. Now, email marketing is very powerful. And what we're going to explore tonight is the benefits of email marketing, how to get going with it. And if you are going with it, how you can improve it for better results. Now, first things first, email marketing is fantastic for staying connected. It's great for reactivation of old clients. It's also very important for nurturing new leads into clients, which I'm a massive fan of. And also as well, MailChimp and MailChimp Premium are the best platforms in not just my view, but millions of people's view. So a bit of social proof there. And of course, as well, email marketing. I think, to be straight with you, out of all the techniques that are out there, if you're a leverage automation and you're really fixated on return on investment, be it for your cash or your time, I'll tell you now that email marketing is absolutely one of the best techniques out there. And I think there's quite a few reasons for that, actually. It's sort of built that way. It's just the way that the platforms and the dynamics tend to work. So it's completely phenomenal and amazing. So what we're going to look at tonight are many things. And just for those who don't know me, my name is Edward Zier, and I'm here to help you kick butt tonight. This is Content in the Vault. Of course, feel free to share my content and information around the place. Now, for those that don't know me, I've generated over $100 million Australian dollars for my clients over the years, worked with thousands and helped many go from 0 to 6 figures in less than 12 months. Postgraduate in marketing from Monash University and a CPM with the AMI, ex-military, ex-fed, and just so you know, I'm forever hitting new events and working with top companies and enterprises across town. I usually go to about 2 or 3 events a week, so I do whatever it takes to stay current, as well as been rubbing shoulders with quite a few celebs lately, which is really cool. Also, as well, if you need a copy of these slides, please email me. More than happy to send it through to you. And also, as well, the recording will be coming out, so if you miss anything, don't panic too much. Just so you know as well, this is general educational advice by its pure nature. So what that actually means is that please don't watch this and go off and do something crazy. Please think it through, and if you need a hand, just talk to me. I can point you in the right direction. Now, getting straight into the awesome content, my friends. First things first are strategic considerations when it comes to email marketing. When we're talking email marketing, I like to think of things in this context. People start off as interested in our services. Like, let's say no one knows who we are, and then they find out about us. People often get interested in our services, and what might happen is they might opt into our email database at some point. You may get permission to add them, or whatever the case may be. Now, what happens is, from an email marketing point of view, is that by them getting emails every fortnight or month or week or whatever, as time passes, this interested person actually then turns into a fan, which means they like you. They haven't given you any money yet, but they like you and they engage with you. Then what they can do is they turn into an actual customer. An actual customer means they're actually giving you money. They're actually hiring your services, which is just fantastic. Then when it flows on from that, they become an advocate. They're your inner core of customers and people that love you and refer you. Now, the whole point of email marketing is to speed up this process. Another strategic consideration I want to put out there in the context of email marketing is putting the customer first. That is the content we're going to write for your customers. Okay, this is what I'm getting at. You're not just sending out emails, just selling them your wares. You're putting the customer first. You're helping them. You're helping answer their questions, answer their problems, and you're helping them become as progressive as possible. Now, in this case, feel free to watch this in the recording or the PDF if you get a copy of it. And this is actually from 1955, written by Caltex, written in the context of looking after customers. And I don't know if you can read it on your screen, but if you look at the bottom comment, this is about placing the customer first, obviously talking in unisex language. They are a person who brings you their wants. It's your job to handle them profitably to them and to yourself. And to me, that's quite powerful. It's something that I always like to preface my webinars with. And of course, the last thing I sort of want to preface it with from a strategic point of view is email marketing is a great and proven technique used by millions successfully. However, it's only as good as the information you put in and the nature of the product you put in. So there's just a few considerations I'd really want to keep in mind. Now, just checking with my wonderful audience live tonight. You've got a little chat box. I'm just going to say hello to you all. Please send me messages. Please ask me questions, because the more questions I get asked by yourself, I can use them as part of it. So If you've got any questions, please ask. I would absolutely love to answer them. So let's have a look at some of the origins of email marketing. And then as we spend half an hour together, I'm going to go into some real actual examples and talk it through. And please get me a question so I can bounce off that and give great answers to the audience. Now, email marketing is a tool that came out of the internet age, and emails actually first started in the 1960s and 1970s. So they've actually been around for a long, long time. And I'm quite old, I'm not far from 40, and I remember getting my first spam messages at university in the late 90s. Now, what happens is, as the internet left its, I suppose, its bronze age and entered its golden age, and it's really developed to what it is today. Today, we can often get overwhelmed by emails, and one criticism I often get of whenever I say email marketing is a great technique, some people offer a very, I wouldn't say it's a reasonable criticism, but I can understand why they're saying it. One of the first reactions is, oh my God, I get too many emails and there's too much spam, there's too much clutter out there. Now, I partly agree with that. There is a lot of spam, clutter, and poor emails out there. However, when you have the right email with great content going to the right person, it works incredibly well. So in fact, I actually had a critic sort of disagree with me at some point. I actually logged into my email account and showed them. I've got about 2,000 plus people in my MailChimp account. And what's interesting about all that is that if I look at those actual numbers, about 150 are heavily engaged. So every time I send out an email, about 150 get right into it. They open it quickly, they click on something or do whatever. So like any marketing strategy, you might, let's say, do Facebook ads that hit 1,000 people every day. Only about 50 will really get engaged. And that's just the way marketing works. So I always say, ultimately, if you have really good content and you aim it towards the right person, you got nothing to worry about. Now, email marketing is only increasing. So there's pressure on us as marketers and business owners and entrepreneurs to make the content as interesting and as powerful as possible, which we're going to talk about, so don't you worry about a thing. The other element of email marketing I want to focus on is that email marketing, you got to understand your industry and how it's sort of done. I'm going to talk through a few different industrial examples or industry examples. It really depends on the industry you're in. It depends on what you're doing. And you sort of depends on the nature of your business and the flavor. So for example, the way, let's say, Boost Juice Bars emails to its member base is very different to the way Accor, Novotel would do it, which is very different to the way IBM or Intel would do it. I'm sure they're B2B database. So you really got to know your industry inside out and use the technique accordingly. We'll look at a few examples of that. And just as well, I've had one of my clients, actually, I've had many clients do really well out of email marketing in terms of reactivation of old clients and also in driving word of mouth. One of my favorite clients, one of my big clients actually, mutual client, been around for about 20 years. They're in the financial services space. They increased their revenue by over 40% in just 3 months using email marketing because they had an old database that wasn't really being used. And by really getting into email marketing, they reactivated a lot of old clients and got some amazing referrals. That is, people get emails from them, they start thinking about you, they pass it on and that sort of thing. So there's several different elements there I really want you to all totally consider. Now I'm just going to run through a few examples just conceptually and use that. Now it can be used in a wide range of industries. A great one that you see in the example of cafes or restaurants as fast food is bowl out the front, go in for the draw to win, free, I'm using grilled here as an example, which I think do a great job of it. Go into the draw to win $50 of premium burgers and join our database. Now, the reason why you do that is you get people's business cards and you can send them an email once a month with a fantastic offer as well as drawing the winner. It's great, it's simple, it's easy, and it's a great way of staying connected. And what I like about it from a cafe point of view, just to give you an example, is you can, let's say, launch a new product and put it out there. Very simple example. Gyms can use this incredibly well. I've had many clients in the gym personal training space, one of them there, who's used it very well. And it really in gyms, one of the biggest problems is churn, as in what I mean by churn are people just signing up and leaving. You can use email marketing in the gym context to, keep people staying longer, make sure the lazy people get to the gym so they don't think their membership's a waste of money. You can also offer classes, you can sell all of the products, and also as well, let's say someone makes an inquiry, but they haven't actually signed up. You can keep them on the list. So over time, emails nurture them. And that's one big salient point I want to make here, friends, is that as you email people and you stay connected, please, and this is one of the expectations I want to set, please don't expect to send out an email and it work incredibly well. What I mean by that is don't expect it to get you heaps of clients immediately. It doesn't work like that at all. What it does is that it sort of chips away at people over time, and eventually gets them over the line from that point of view. So something just to keep in mind. Very important point. I just want to make that. Now, this is a very good one. This is coach, mentors, and consultants. It could mean a lot of things. We've got just to mention, we've got a celeb on the line tonight. We've got the awesome Rod Sanchez from Sydney Acupuncture. So feel free to visit Rod Sanchez's Facebook business page for his awesome acupuncture practice. Now, in this case, what we've got here is that depending on what you're doing, in a lot of businesses that we have, be it mentor, coach, consultants, acupuncturist, health person, accountant, property person, ultimately we can be selling quite intangible sort of services. We're not necessarily selling a physical product. Like I'm actually sitting here in my left hand now, I've got a bottle of San Pellegrino mineral water. It's quite a tangible product, looks cool. It's got that green cool bottle. It's going to have a sip of it now, so I maintain my voice. Oh, that's good. Hey, Rod, I can see your great comment there. And basically, the way it works is that when you're selling an idea such as I'm marketing mentor, you can't get more intangible than that almost. When you're selling something completely intangible, you have to really give lots of quality information so people emotionally and intellectually really understand what you're about. Now, notice I've said the term emotionally and intellectually. The reason why I've made that distinction, friends, is that emotionally is more of a reference to people liking you, more people feeling comfortable with you. If that makes sense. So yeah, look, I like that brand, I like that person, I feel okay about working with them. So I'm emotionally in check. The other side of it is intellectually, which means everything stacks up saying, look, I feel that he's Rod Sanchez's example. I emotionally like Rod. He's a cool guy. He's got great stuff. And intellectually, I understand what acupuncture is about and I get why I need it and why I should, book a consult. So what's very important is to sort of keep that in mind. This is sort of when we're entering the crescendo of what we're talking about, is that you've got to give high value, great information to really inspire you. And I'll come back to this one in a moment. But this is just another example I'll give you. This is one of my military industrial clients. I'm very grateful I have had them for many years, and they're awesome. Is Jebco. You can check out their website. They're based in the Sydney's Northern Beaches, and they're in pure industrial. So you're going to get no bull from them. People that buy from that company will order tens of thousands of dollars of an industrial grade silicon, and even though it's a dry business, people are actually really friendly in it. You'd be surprised in the engineering sort of space. And in this case, they make specialty silicon. And in that case, email marketing for them is just incredible. I've watched it. Like we'll send in an email. They've got really, really big database, and they'll get like 30 orders in. It's completely insane. And also as well, if they launch a new product or have something new, it's perfect just to announce it to the database. So it is just fantastic. So there's a few different examples here, and I want you to really, you might be selling a feminine product, a masculine product, something that has no gender bias to it. It's more of a tangible product or an intangible product. There's one thing you'll notice is that these are obviously emails that I've written here, right? So these are emails that I've had a lot of input in. You notice I've got a certain style and format about it. In other words, you know that it's me writing the emails. I've got that standard style about it. And there's a certain reason for that style, which, again, we'll come to in a minute. Now, one thing I just want to get through, again, I'm not from the government. I used to work for the government once, but I'm not the email police or anything like that. But just a few things. I get asked about this all the time, so I just want to cover up on it, just about the law when it comes to email marketing. In Australia, it's governed by the Australian Communication and Media Authority, and they're actually really good. As much as I, criticise the government being a libertarian, no, they're actually really good. So actually, ACMA and Australian Communications and Media Authority actually do a really good job. They regulate the Spam Act, and it's good just to Google it just so you know what it's about and come in there. Now, very simple terms. Again, I'm not a solicitor. I just want to cover off on a few things. When it comes to the law of collecting emails, express consent is when you, hi, can I add you to the database? Yes, you can. Right. Then in Australian law, the second part is inferred consent. This is the grey area of discussion. So in other words, based on what the ACMA website's saying, you don't have to ask everyone saying, can I add you to my database? And this is exactly from their website. So full acknowledgement to the awesome ACMA. And I'll just read out very quickly. Again, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I just want to make people feel good. Basically is this. You can infer consent if you've got an existing business or other relationship where the other side's got a reasonable expectation of receiving electronic messages. The second of it as well is, let's say There's a conspicuous publication of a work-related electronic address because it's accessible to the public or a section of the public. So basically, in very simple terms, again, not a solicitor, but telling you as a marketing manager. Inferred consent is great. As long as people are expecting it, it's appropriate, and it's just as simple as this. If in doubt, don't do it. Only add people if you know it's okay, if I sort of take that extension. Now, again, I'm not the police. I'm a marketer. I did policing work once. There are hundreds of ways to structure the email, but I'll make it very easy for you. Now, forget the colors and all that for the moment. The colors, the size of the images, they're easy to change. You can do it however you want. So please don't get too obsessed with what I'm saying here. But there's heaps of different ways of going about it. And the format that I like is called Slim Gallery. Now, the reason why it's called Gallery in online marketing means you have basically options that you can click on, like a gallery. You go to an art gallery, you have all these different things you can look at. That's what a gallery actually is. Now, in the case of email marketing, fat gallery. Well, it's not very PC, but we'll say plus size gallery. There we go. We'll call it plus size gallery. Plus size gallery. It's actually called fat gallery, but plus size gallery is where you have massive tiles. But usually it doesn't really work too well on mobile phones, but it looks good on desktops. So Slim Gallery is a great format. You'll notice on here, if you just look on the right of the screen, you'll see my email. 3 sections. You'll see me with the awesome team on the right. You'll see the logo of New South Wales Business Chamber, and you'll see me promoting a webinar. Now, that is actually not much room. That's like half of a desktop screen, and it looks good on mobile too. And there's 3 different things there for people to click on. Now, usually, not always, it depends on the application. If you've got, let's say, a really good product announcement or something that's a really big point that carries itself, it's good you might just do an email saying we've got a new product, we signed a deal with such and such, or whatever the case may be. But usually for a lot of people, Slim Gallery is a good ongoing format because if you just put out one thing, it can be a bit of a one-trick pony. And I'll give you an example. So in this case here, I've got a blog, which I wrote, very popular blog. I've got an invite to a New South Wales Business Chamber event, and then I've got an invite to my live webinar. Now, in this case, let's say someone doesn't want to come to my events, but they like my live webinar. They like my blog. They'll read it. Let's say someone doesn't want to come to my live webinar because they're not as awesome as you people listening to it. They'll go to the chamber event. And let's say if someone just wants to come to my live webinar, the point I'm making here is that you'll notice I've got different options, and they're really good. So the idea is, and this is the way what has worked well for me and many of my clients, is you open up the email, boom, up comes these really good options. And then people can just click on it and they can do whatever they need to do. Works great, highly recommended. So the idea is one page comes up and they can go through heaps of options. Now, the thing I want to point out as well, mobile is a big issue in email marketing, massive issue, because I think in my case, it's like 45% read on mobile. The thing, and going into MailChimp as well, the thing I love about MailChimp and this type of format is it looks fantastic on mobile. It looks really good. So when people open it on a mobile phone, they'll see everything, it'll look good, it won't look crappy and that sort of thing. So something I just want to make a big point about. So that's the way I sort of do it. So just go back a bit. So what you might do in your case, friends, is you might, let's say, have 3 to 5 points you make on every email. It might be, I'll use Awesome Rod Sanchez as an example. It might be, booking a consult. Here's some information about some of our therapies. We've got a new practitioner starting. We've got some new vitamins and amino acids for sale. You can sort of get my drift. The idea is to showcase what you're all about. And this is the versatility of it, and which is why I love it. Now, what I usually say is I break this rule all the time, but usually don't try to keep it on one page. When I say one page, one desktop screen. Usually, if you go on too long, you get a lower click rate, which I've been guilty of a few times. So no need to copy me on that one, which is really good. So just moving on to the next one. Oh, of course, I made this point before. Value first and sales second. So what I'm meaning by that point is the last thing you want to do is, and you've had this before, you don't want to open an email, someone just selling you their wares. It's not good. You're going to get opt-outs, but it doesn't create, people won't feel emotionally good about your brand or your business. So, and this might sound weird, you can get sales at times in a way that people don't feel good about your brand or business. So to me, and you'll see this in my own emails, I always give something first before saying, buy stuff. Really important, and just something I really want you awesome people to keep in mind. Value first and sales second. The other point I want to make in light of all this is the marketing ecosystem. And when you're actually putting your emails together, you want it to fit in with your whole marketing sort of environment. So what I mean by that is that this is just an example of my newsletter that went out on Friday. I'll put my latest one in there. And you'll notice that just in this one screen, there are 5 different options that all relate to something else. One goes to my blog, one goes to a live webinar, this one. One goes to a live event, which is a Sydney workshop. One goes to my online product, and one goes to a free download. Now, in your case, it might be an event, it might be a booking link, it might be some information, it might be to book in a free consult, it might be to check out your new website. It's great to be as creative as possible, but the point is that make sure your email marketing fits in with your whole business outlook. So if you, for example, are an accountant and you want to get more clients in, you might offer a 60-minute consult for new clients to come in, that type of thing. So the point is that the email is the great place to do it. Now, if I just jump back a little bit as well, I just want to make a quick point about reactivation and nurturing, okay? Now, I often talk about this. Reactivation, technically speaking, is someone who's been a client before. You reactivate them to become a client again. So let's say, we use the case of Awesome Rod Sanchez. Let's say they visit 6 times for a bit of acupuncture. They get over their neck pain, and then they forget about it. Then all of a sudden they get an email saying, hey, look, why don't you come in for a Bowen massage or something like that? And people see it and they feel, okay, I'll come back for that different service. So they're an old customer who already has trust in the Rod Sanchez acupuncture brand, but they've decided to come back again. And that's really good. Reactivation is really good. And it's funny, when you study marketing, I remember this in my postgrad, which I studied at Monash University years ago. When you actually study that, what actually happens, wonderful friends, is when you actually do it, the first thing they say to you is, from a marketing point of view, getting back previous clients to buy more services is much easier because they've already got trust in your brand and in your services and that sort of thing, which is good because I've got heaps in my business, which I'm flat about. I have heaps of clients who come, go, come back, go. So some clients stay with me forever, some use me transactionally, and some keep coming and going, which is awesome. Now, the part of it is that email marketing helps that reactivation process, which is really good. Now, nurturing is slightly different, and nurturing is the other point I want to speak about. Nurturing is whereby they're not a client yet. Okay, they're not a client yet, and they might, for example, join your database and think, yeah, I like you. I'm actually quite interested in your services, but they're not ready yet to become a customer. They may not trust you enough yet. They might be saving up money to hire you, or they might be trying to get their business. Happens to me all the time, actually, this one. They're getting their business ready before they actually engage you to fully benefit from your services. So there's heaps and heaps of different mechanisms and means that occur here. Now, nurturing is by them getting your emails. Every time, in a way, you sort of chip away at them. You chip away at them. Now, as I referenced before, awesome friends, I've got over 2,000 people in my database, which I'm really blessed about and really happy about. Now, it takes the same amount of work to email. You know where I'm going here, right? It takes the same amount of work to email. It takes the same amount of work to write the newsletter and send it out. So be it 5 people or 10 people or 100 or 2,000 people, it's the same amount of work, and that is the leverage power of it, which is just fantastic, and it's just something I really want to get across. So that's why I love it, because it might take you half an hour or an hour to build your newsletter, but you're emailing it to, even if you've got 100 people, this is the point I want to make. Even if you're starting out and you've only got 100 people in your database, that's cool. They're just your contacts out of Outlook. It's fine. Don't worry. Because if you think about it, you're doing one email to 100 people. That's 100 people that are getting engaged in your brand. Now, the other thing that's really important about MailChimp is that people can opt out. Now, this is one of the reasons why I'm a absolute massive fan of MailChimp. In MailChimp is powerful. It's great. It's free up until 2,000 users from memory. Please double check that. If you want the automation, that costs you, but it's a free platform. And I'll be straight up with you. I've been in business now for 6 years, and I've been email marketing for 5 years from memory. When I originally started out in business, MailChimp was not the best. Actually, I think the best at the time was Office Autopilot. But anyway, over time, MailChimp has, I suppose it's been the Donald Trump of email marketing. Sorry to bring up Trump. But no, over time, what it's done is it's freaking powerful now. So look, in the category that we're talking about, I mean, yeah, we can get enterprise email systems that cost tens of thousands of dollars. That's no problem. But in terms of cloud-based email systems, MailChimp is powerful and it's the best, right? So I'll tell you that now. Just so you know, they are not a client. I wish they were. And I do not get commissions for MailChimp as much as I wish I did. I use it myself and I swear by it, and the automation is just beautiful. Now, just talking legally as well, it's got fully built-in opt-out. So you notice at the bottom of the emails, people can opt out. So look, it's all because when it comes to having spam compliant emails, it's like, look, here's an email, you can opt out. It's great. Plenty of people opt out of my emails, opt out of other people's emails. If it doesn't suit me, it just works. So that's the real beauty of it. You can get your free account. Now, what I say to people, it was funny, actually. I was at the gym a few days ago in North Parramatta, just working away, and a guy recognized me. Oh, you're Edward, you're the marketing guy. And he started asking me all these questions about email marketing. It was quite funny. I was just on that assisted, I'm working my chin-ups. I'm not very good at them still, so it's that assisted chin-up thing. I was doing work on that, and I was just sort of in the process of it. And he kept asking me all about MailChimp, all these questions about it. And it's like, just create a free account. Just create a free account, play with it. You'll know in 20 minutes if you like it or not. So if you're not on it already, that's what I encourage. Now, if you are on MailChimp already, if you're already into it, the bit that I really encourage you to check out is the automation features if you haven't already. Now, what the automation features is that, let's say you add someone, they'll automatically get sent a welcome email. Or it could even be a sequence. They'll get sent a stack of emails over time. It just works. It works just beautifully. That's one way of doing it. You can even set it up to the point on your website where if someone checks out somewhere, if they go to a certain page or they trigger something, they'll get an email. So the options are limitless in what you can do. The thing I do usually suggest is the frequency of emails. Most of my clients do fortnightly. That's pretty common. Most of my clients do fortnightly. So usually it's either monthly, fortnightly, or weekly. So if I just do the percentages, probably, I'm just thinking it through now. Now I'm testing it. Yeah, probably in all objective, probably about 40% of my clients do them on a fortnightly basis. It suits a lot of people quite well. And probably, let's say 20% do monthly and 20%, myself included, do weekly. And some people do more than that, which I technically do with event announcements. So it really depends on the nature of your business. Some businesses are different, but usually I don't recommend anything less than monthly, anything as in longer than monthly, because I actually found it doesn't work. So I've known clients who've done quarterly emails and they're getting nothing out of it, but we stick them to monthly, switch them to monthly, write better content, and all of a sudden they get more sales. Because the problem is that, now Facebook works a bit like this too, I've found out lately actually. When you just, email people just out of the blue, what has a tendency to happen is they sort of disregard you. It's like, oh, who's this person? Yeah, if it makes sense, they don't actually have the emotional connection to you. So when you sort of do that, they sort of write you off a bit. It doesn't actually stick. I remember how I made reference before. I'll just go to that diagram. Where is it? There's a diagram. Where is it? God, I really put it at the start, didn't I? Man, oh, there we go. This diagram I put at the start. You got to remember is that in terms of working someone through that process, turning them from someone who's interested into a customer, let alone an advocate, when you look at that, the idea is if you're only emailing people like once every 3 months, it's not enough actual pressure to sort of drive that process. Now, there is a balance. For my business, when I went to weekly, I was covered in sweat when I did it, because I used to be sort of on a fortnightly to monthly. It wasn't working that well. So I switched to weekly, and that just kicked butt for my business. So there's quite a few different things I invite you to think about and really consider from that point of view. So let's keep it going. By the way, friends, we're actually going really well for time. If you've got any questions, please ask me. And please interrupt me, ask me some questions. You can just type them in, and I'd love to talk to you about it. And of course, remember the recording will be coming out tomorrow, so don't worry about a thing. Make sure just so you know, if you've opted into this webinar, it automatically opts you into my email database, but only if you confirm. So if you've opted in for the first time to my database, you'll get the invite to this webinar, plus you'll get a confirmation of my email address. Just make sure you hit the confirm button, so then you'll get my email tomorrow. I've had a few people ask me that from last time, so just bring that up. So yes, MailChimp is powerful, highly recommended. I've done incredibly well with that. And here's some step-by-step moves to really help you with it. Work out the approach and your content. Now, this is actually quite a bit of work there. It's sort of technically part of email marketing. That usually sets up people. Set up your MailChimp account and database. There's heaps of guides on YouTube to do it. If it isn't your thing, you could hire me to help you do it, or you could join my awesome marketing vault and I can sort of advise you from that point of view. When you've got it all set up, test it on some friends. Please don't just import 2,000 people and just hit them all. Not recommended. You want to sort of measure it that way. You want to assess data and information. Now, what MailChimp is very good at is giving you open rate and data, and it's just fantastic. So if you're getting lots of opt-outs or people aren't liking it, you've got something to worry about. Or if you're getting heaps of clicks and sales and positive emails, oh, you're winning. Do your first send and stick to your schedule and keep improving it. So my emails have improved a lot over the past 6 months, and there's some step-by-step moves. Here are a few honorable mentions as well. My very awesome friends. It's a very underrated technique. Send content first and keep an eye on your analytics and opt-outs. And sometimes you won't feel like sending it, but do it anyway. And also as well with reactivation, and just making it, I suppose, an additional honorable mention, is that when it comes to really good email activation or reactivation, you might send people an offer to reactivate them. You might send, but again, you notice I'm always dark on discounting prices. As marketers, we stay out of discounting prices, but usually people get used to it and it devalues your service. But you can discount it, but usually it's by staying connected or offering them a different service. So I'll use, again, Awesome Rod as an example. So Rod is a very, very successful acupuncturist with a clinic, and they have all these different services. So let's say someone's already into the acupuncture side of Rod and they love Rod for that. Getting them to do more acupuncture won't really work. Or let's say hypothetically they've done 3 months of acupuncture, loved it, they've lapsed as a customer. By sending them really high quality emails and really good quality information, you might reacquire them on acupuncture, or you might email them something else. And that's what I suggest. So I always like in emails, it's always good to have a variety of topic and information every time. So if your business has 3 to 5 different products, it's good to, you might offer them all at once, or you might rotate them and that sort of thing. Hey, the Awesome Rod has asked a very good question. Can you send different emails to different groups to see how they react? Absolutely. Now, what MailChimp is very good at is you can create what's called segments in MailChimp. And let's say you got a list of 1,000 people. And let's say hypothetically, we'll continue with Rod's example. Let's say Rod's got a list of 1,000 people and 500 of them are old customers. Okay, boys, girls, great example. Let's say you've got male and female. Absolutely. You can create a female segment and a male segment. And the way it works is this. You might, let's say, do a gender neutral email. Let's say you're doing an email 1 month, which is pretty gender neutral. You can just send it to everyone. But let's say one, you're going to focus on female fertility, and the other one, you're going to focus on male fertility. You might do an email that goes to female and men at once and goes from that point of view. The only thing you got to be careful of is you got to make sure the data is correct. So where a lot of people, from a MailChimp point of view, segmenting is dead easy. The issue is the quality of data. So what I mean by that is, let's say you got a boy that's classified as a girl and they get the wrong information. So it all comes down to data. So if you got really good quality data that's correctly segmented, yes, doing segmented emails can actually work incredibly well. But again, it assumes really good data. What I suggest to most people, to get things going really well is that, let's say you're doing male and female fertility in that case. Let's say your data isn't up to scratch yet. That's cool. It's no sweat. What you can do is you can just do an email to both, but you have let's say here you have a slim gallery tile. One will be, let's say, on male fertility, and one will be on female fertility. So that way, because you're presenting people with various options, it won't be much of an issue. The other thing is as well, people might pass it on. So let's say a male gets it, but then he passes it to his wife or something like that, or a sister who's having trouble, or whatever the case may be. So something to keep mindful of. But great one. Awesome, Rod. Really appreciate it. Got any other questions? Please get them through. Now, as well, make it all work for you. Take action, get into it, and get started. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a quick recap. Then I'm going to go through at the end the ways I can help you if we're not working together at premium level already. Hey, you got a question here. How can you get people to pass on your emails? This is from Ron Sanchez. Great question. Now, people I actually find pass on your emails anyway. So I actually find if you create really good content, really good information, people just hit forward and pass it on. So that's step one. Really good content will automatically get passed on. Now, what's interesting with MailChimp is that in MailChimp, you can actually look at the open rate. And if the open rate's more of 5, usually being passed on. Rod's asked a great question about offers. Can you put offers in there for people passing it on? Absolutely, you can use offers for people passing it on. The only thing is, though, you've got to make sure it doesn't sound cheesy or devalued. And you got to make sure it doesn't appear like you're bribing people. So offers can work if the offers are work incredibly well. You got to be careful that you don't look like you're bribing people. People can sort of react poorly to that, especially in an email sense. No, but an offer though, if let's say hypothetically, let's say Rod hypothetically tomorrow has a new consultant start. This is a good way of doing it. And they're really good. But the new consultant, because they're just starting in Rod's practice, they've got no customers, and Rod needs to get them 50 customers as quickly as possible. Doing an opening offer absolutely would make sense. It might be, 50% off. It might be something really cool just for the first round of sessions, just so they can get enough visitors coming in. And let's say half of them end up becoming long-term customers. Great move. Now, you might make the offer so damn good for that new person. You put in a pass along saying, feel free to forward this to a friend, spread the word that everyone's interested. Yep, Rod's made a good point. You can place limits on it. One thing that you can actually do is just say, you don't actually have to specify the number of limits. You might just say, this is limited to a number of bookings. So let's say hypothetically, Rod has a new consultant starting tomorrow and he wants 50 bookings, hypothetically, 50 bookings, and he gets 80 in, right? I usually say to people, even if it hurts, just honor the extra booking so you don't upset anyone. But if you really have to, you can just pull rank and say, look, sorry, that's all we got. I don't usually like numbering the place limits because depending on the way people's brain works, it can create a positive or negative reaction. So that's a good point there. But thank you, Rod. Really good questions. Any other questions, please get them through. Rod, if you've got any more, I'd love to hear them. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a quick recap of just what we've been through. And I'm just going to talk about how I can help you as well if I'm not already. And yes, and just saying that is a good, great recording. So again, if you'd like a copy of the slides, please just email me and make sure you're fully opted into my database because the recording will be coming out 11 a.m. Sydney time tomorrow. Email marketing is a process of reactivating and nurturing new people, which works just great. And key points I want to make is make sure your emails are written with exceptional quality content. That is everything. It's a great leverage, powerful technique. I've had mature clients really increase their business by it. And think about your industry and how it relates to you. And Slim Gallery is a format that I absolutely love. Even an industrial email marketing works incredibly well. Just be mindful of legals. Make sure you've got consent. As long as if you're using MailChimp and doing the right thing, you've got nothing to worry about. ACMA are fantastic, a very good government regulator. You can check out their site. Make sure you've got a really good structure to your email. You're showing really good information. Slim Gallery is great. There's heaps of different ways of doing it. Give value first in what you're doing, value, tips, information, and useful quality. Make sure it fits with your business DNA and your business and your marketing strategy. And the reason why I'm saying that is I've had a lot of people do emails. It looks absolutely it's like nothing to do with their business. It's like something random and bizarre. Make sure you don't fall for that. Make sure it looks like organically part of your business. It's really important. Make sure you have good frequency in your emails. It's very important. Monthly, fortnightly, or weekly. Generally, I recommend fortnightly, but it depends on your circumstances. MailChimp, again, if only they were a client of mine, if only they were a commission, which I don't, they are fantastic. Legally, I can't take commissions, by the way, but I'll swear by MailChimp and I use it myself. Step-by-step moves. Oh, get into it. You will love it. And, of course, a few honorable mentions. Have a schedule and stick to it. And, of course, make it work for you and get started. So as I say, thank you for watching. I'm just going to wrap things up. Feel free to ask me any questions. I'm just going to run through how I can help you. Now, if you like tonight's webinar, I can help you in many ways. I can help you create your own marketing strategy and plan. I can help mentor, motivate, and inspire you. I can help you get your key strategies off the ground. So in this case, be it that we've talked about email marketing, I can help you get your email marketing MailChimp off the ground. And there's heaps of different ways of doing it. A common way is my awesome Marketing Vault mentoring program, which you can sign up to on my website with credit card right now. If you do sign up to it, just let me know and we can have a chat, which is just great. Also, as well, you can hire me directly for my higher level mentoring programs, which are all just great. So just so you know, I've got quite a few resources to help you. I've got resources that are publicly available. I've got my blog, my email database. Also, as well, if you go to the homepage of my website, you can access Module 1 of my Awesome Marketing Vault on the house and get a great taste of it and get some great ideas. And also, as well, if you haven't already, please add me on Facebook personally. Love to be connected. And also follow my Facebook business page, Awesome Marketing with Edward Zier. Of course, as well, I love new customers and I'd love to help you. If you love what you see and you want to get into it, you can email me, you can speak to me. The Awesome Marketing Vault Mentoring Program is just fantastic. I get amazing reviews from it. It's just $97 Australian a month. You can stay as long or as little as you like. You get access to the Members Vault and you get personal access to me. And I recommend it for a lot of people. It's a great way of starting your journey. And of course, if you want more, you want me to get very involved in your business, if you go to my website and click the mentoring tab, you can download my corporate profile or just email me and I can send you a copy. So thank you, friends. I just want to give a few great acknowledgements, to you, but also just acknowledge our content that I've used. XCOM 2, Spock, Eric Cartman, Fallout, Martha, Gordon Ramsay, The Queen, TEDx, ACMA, MailChimp, anyone that I've used that's helped make it awesome. In fact, I don't have Donald Trump in this one, which is interesting. Maybe next time. Hey, there you go. But I just want to say thank you for being an amazing audience. My throat is about to seize up on me. I probably need a cup of coffee or something. But I just want to say thank you for watching tonight. Thank you for participating. If you're watching the recording, thank you so much, and I really appreciate it. Now, I'm going to wish you all a great evening and a good day. There's my website there. There is my email address. Here to help. Stay awesome. Have a fantastic evening. I'll talk to you fine people all later, and looking forward to sharing the recording with you all tomorrow.